Thank you for joining us again at Glider Gaming. We are back with some oxygen not included, picking up at cycle 10 where we left off. We've got our bedroom set up for our current dukes at +1. We've got some food growing to make sure we don't starve to death. We've got our oxygen systems pumping some gases with a pretty reasonable rate. And we just found our neural vaccinator. Vacillator. They changed the names, sorry. Oh, and a morb, which would be a bit problematic because those fellers like to make germs. So yet another source of slimelung in our colony. Later in the game, you know, cycle 40, cycle 60, cycle 80, I can do something with a morb. But this early on, he's just gonna fill us up with nasty gases, so we're gonna have to say goodbye to that fellow. Combat. Sounds so scary, just like when my folks are gonna die. So, who should we put in here? Last time I told you I like to have my scientists jump in there, because eventually they will be astronauts, and I feel like making them more successful would be ideal. Jean seems to be our better scientist. No offense, Harold. It's just she's twice as far along as you. So I think we'll toss Jean in there. We're going to put that up a priority here. Let's see what Jean gets. If you've never seen the Neural Vacillator, she's going to gain a new positive trait that can be pretty strong. Like +10 strength. She can carry everything now. And it's been used. Once we start doing some space travel, we can find refills for this and give more people more traits. We can also find some clothes. Maybe we'll find a nice snazzy suit to make everyone's day a little better. I tend not to use the warm or cold sweaters because getting people to take them on and off before they go into different spaces can be a little troublesome. So I'll probably just let those sit there or store them and never use them. If you guys want to give me some tips and tricks on how to use those better, I'm definitely open to learning while I'm playing this game, so let me know. So what are we doing here? We're doing some research, planting our stuff. So we should do something exciting. What kind of fun stuff could we do? Ah, this fellow has trapped himself, which is strange. He should, in theory... So he's not digging because of this blueprint. If we cancel this... There we go. That's another little thing that can happen where they won't dig out a blueprint because they can't construct the blueprint. That's something I wish they would have fixed in Mark 2. Hopefully the next one is a Mark 3, and we can get that upgrade, because that fellow would have eventually died of starvation or something. And those alerts don't really kick in sometimes until they're about to die, so you don't always have a lot of time to save them. So it's always important to watch for idle dupes. No research focus. So we've got our decontamination, which is good, because we have contamination in our base. So that's great. We're going to build one or two of those once we figure out where that gas is settling. What should we do next? I'm not really ready to get a ranch going. I'm not going to do any hydroponic farming before I have power. Power is going to be somewhat important. Liquid, pumping, air systems. Yeah, we're definitely going to want an electrolyzer pretty soon. So maybe we'll start thinking about how to get our air system up and going. The primary channel that I watched when I was getting this game was Cryptic Fox. I highly recommend him. Go check him out. He generally streams this game pretty frequently, a couple times a week. This guy's still not digging himself out. So I tend to use the Cryptic Fox style of oxygen system. We put a couple electrolyzers below a hydrogen pump, and then the electrolyzers sit above some oxygen pumps, so the gases naturally sort themselves. So that's probably what we'll be putting together. We are going to need gold to make this happen, so we're probably going to have to venture into this nasty little biome. So we'll probably come over here and build a CO2 lock, which CO2 being the densest gas that always filters to the bottom. If you create a scenario where CO2 is sitting in an opening and gas can't freely flow, you will lock gases on the left from the right with that CO2 gate. So we'll kind of set that up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5. So this is going to be a floor here. 2, 4, 5. This will be a floor here. So we'll probably put it on this layer. We'll probably build it into this abyssalite that we can't mine out. Kind of hard to contextualize. Yeah, that's supposed to be right there. So this will be a successful CO2 lock. It will not allow, so the two lowest sections are going to be CO2, and then these sections don't necessarily have to be a CO2 because these two will lock out the stuff from either side. We're not actually going to build those tiles because abyssalite will take care of that same issue for us and be an insulator. This will be the floor of our base. So we just need to get some CO2 down into this area, and we will be ready to go. We can go ahead and build that farm tile there. Oops. And oops. Oh. All the derpiness. Someday I'll learn to place tiles properly, but today will not be that day. With this third layer of farm, I'm pretty confident we will be able to support at least a dozen dupes without much issue. We never did decide what we wanted to research. Oh, we did. We wanted to research air systems. So, we can create oxygen with water now. In order to actually create oxygen with water, we will need some pipes. We have access to normal pipes. The filtration can be nice, but is not always necessary if you set it up right and keep it running. Sensors are very helpful. So, I guess we need sensors and we need the hydrogen generator. So, we'll start there, then we'll come over and we'll get the sensors. We'll have to get brute force refinement so we can get a little bit of refined metals for this. This smart battery will control our power so that we're not always just burning our hydrogen, because you will burn it out. You have to regulate that a little bit. Insulating tiles are also going to be necessary pretty soon. Like I said, we're going to be leaching heat. Let's check in on that, actually. This site is supposed to have an insulating layer of igneous rock, granite, and obsidian, but this affected the generation of that, so we're going to have a lot of heat exchange. Like when we started, this was all a nice deep green color, but it is switching over towards this more orangey color, which is just too hot. So sooner rather than later, we're going to want to cut this area off with some insulated tile. So that's going to be on the docket list too. Not a ton of CO2 setting up yet. It's only been a few cycles. Yeah, so we have slimelung. Slimelung can only propagate on polluted oxygen, so we don't have to worry too much about what we're seeing here. There's a little bit of polluted oxygen there. There's a lot of polluted oxygen there. It will propagate in polluted oxygen. So what we can probably do is build one right here, build one right there. So when the polluted oxygen tries to go up or down, it will hit the deodorizer, and we'll get rid of that pollution. Oh, and you don't normally zoom in this tight. I didn't realize that these guys had a sound effect. Neat. I also want to kind of try to feed these guys. If you can get them to live long enough, they'll reproduce and stuff. Eat phosphorite. So we might come up here and try to dig some of this. We'll see. It's not a high priority. It's nice to have them, but with the new printing pod capabilities, I bet we can get some of their eggs or something. So if they do die out, it won't be as bad as it has in the past. So I'm actually going to break that tile for symmetry's sake, so that all of our farms are equal in size. did set these up a little higher so that people might actually sweep. They are sweeping. This was full of junk earlier. Oh, decor. There we go. But really, we only have good decor where we have light, so we do need to keep working on our decor. So let's head into furniture here. Ah, we haven't researched pottery, so we can get some potted plants here eventually. We have created a bit of meal ice, so that's good. We've used our original food. Now we've got muckroot and meal ice keeping us going. We released a little bit of hydrogen into our base. Once again, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world either. It will filter to the very top, and eventually we can use that for an air conditioning system or try to harvest it and put it back into the hydrogen power supply. Life will go on. I'm going to release a little bit more right here, so maybe I'll put that tile to be of a higher priority, just like we did with the water, so that we minimize how much gets in here. A lot of phosphorite right there. That's strange. You don't normally see clean water anywhere. So that's either from melted ice that spawned outside of the cold biome, or it's from a water geyser. So we kind of want to explore over here a bit more, but also we want to get into this cold biome ASAP, start harvesting sleet wheat, so that in the mid-game we'll have a nice store of sleet wheat to create delicious food with. Food is your best way of regulating morale to get astronauts. With a sleet wheat and pepper nut bread, you can give like plus 12 or plus 15 morale to your astronaut and keep them very happy. And also, you're going to get the Wheezeworts, which are great for a lot of things. You can cool pinpoint spots in your base, or you can create a cooling room and then fill that with hydrogen. Once that's filled with hydrogen, you pump gases through it with radiant piping, and you can really just make sure all the oxygen going into your base is at the appropriate temperature so you don't overheat your base. So it's really awesome. I almost never find one this close to my main base, so hooray. What else have we found? We found another cold biome over here. Oh, an oxalite ring. Generally I find that there's only like one of these on a map, so it's kind of cool to have it this close to the base. We can tap into that so that we can create oxygen in this area and work around in it. But beyond that, not a lot that I'm seeing here. Oh, we got our next duplicant already. So we can get some hatch eggs, we can get some free food, we can get an incredibly creative dupe with irritable bowel, or we can have a pacifist that can do some stuff. You don't generally see +7 on a printing pod that often, so we're probably just going to snap him up. He will eventually be our artist, but not right now. We have some jobs mastered. So we'll come in here and kick out Lindsay and Jean. Some of our guys are just not happy enough. We need to get things cleaned up so they can be happier folks and get some potted plants going. So she's been a research assistant. She's mastered that. We're not going to make her scientist yet. There's no way we can meet the needs of a 12 morale. We'll go ahead and put her in to groundskeeping because I just want to get this base cleaned up. He can be a gopher, and new guy is not going to be an art student yet because I'm not making any art. I really just don't value that at this moment. But he can be a general engineer, I guess. Make sure... Oop. I have no idea where I just put him in. I didn't really look at his name. Oh well. Wherever he is, he'll be fine. Must be a gopher. Whatever. We'll kick him back out. So, gopher. Hold on. I'm changing my mind. Fickle. So this person here wants to be a groundskeeper. She wants to be a gopher, so we'll do it in the opposite order. When you give somebody a job that they have a little heart with, they will master it faster. So we might as well min-max in that way. I'm not a huge min-maxer. You won't ever find me doing what Brothgar does with spreadsheets and doing all the math. I do stuff, and if it works, I'm happy, and if it doesn't, I keep playing around with it. Or I go searching out some work from Brothgar or grind this game. I've still yet to figure out how to make a room where if the outside dupes from outside the base are using it, the inside dupes can't get in it, or vice versa. Inside dupes go into the room, outside base people can't use it. I'm not that good with automation. It is one of my long-term hopes to figure that out, though. Because I'll generally create a new storage room, like, right at the edge of the base. And I'm like, I'd like people from both sides to be able to access it for convenience, but I don't want, you know, people in exosuits coming into the base. I don't want people who don't have exosuits leaving the base, so... It's been haunting my dreams. So we're working on our CO2 lock. We do have CO2 in the appropriate spots, so that's great. Up here, we have not built our deodorizers yet, but we have not had our immune systems affected either, so that's good. So you can see, like, the oxygen, they're dying. It's 1,400, but up here propagating 20 to 25,000. There we go. Got that going. We kick that up to a 6 to make sure someone's actually putting sand in it. Oops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't deconstruct it, please. Oh, good oxygen over there, too. Shoot. Oxygen over here. Dang nabbit. Luckily, the level of blue oxygen we have is not going to kill our base. We'll be fine in the long run, but it's just annoying. You can go the whole base without having blue oxygen if you are on top of things. Alright, CO2 lock is almost done. They need to build these tiles to officially lock it in place. And those tiles. Just keep those up too. Just get it done so we can start exploring. Oh, something else we can do. Temperature. You can look at the temperatures, and we know that the hot biomes are hot. We know that the cold biomes are cold. And if we see a derivation in that, we might have a vent. So you see a little derivation here because we have oxalite and abyssalite, but we know that's all just how that ring does its stuff. No vents yet, it doesn't appear. Oh, that's strange discoloration, so there might be another cold biome right over there. Vents are great. Hopefully we find some water vents soon. Okay, they have finished our work over here, so now we can begin exploring. In the quality of life upgrades, they have made it so that paintings require fibers, which is very honest, but very different than what we've had to do in the past. So we're gonna have to set these fellows over here to auto harvest. Only one. Yeah, do it at 7. So they come out here and keep grabbing that so we can build paintings. I think it only takes 1 per painting for the average size one, so it's not a huge problem, but at some point, if we have enough water, we might try to grow some of those to make sure we always have access to it. They do take the same sort of resources that the pepper plants do, so I'm not gonna go overdoing it with it. We might just grow like 4 or 5, because the pepper plants are required for the high level food, so it's of a higher priority for me. Over in organic, we have 8 tons of algae, so we are no risk of running out of oxygen right now. I said after we did the power, we were going to get the sensors. Next, we'll probably go with the insulation tile so we can protect this side of the base from heat. Once again, it's really not important to do this, but it's something I've been doing, so I guess we'll continue to do it. You hear some background noise, that's probably going to be Lily, my 19-month-old. She just woke up from her nap. I was trying to get this video snuck in before she woke up. Got some eggs. There's a shine nymph egg, so those folks are happy. That's good. We might move this lock later over to here just for symmetry's sake, but it's a convenient spot since we have abyssalite. Why not? So, gold. We came out here for gold. We should probably actually collect the gold then, shouldn't we? And if we can, we'll try to get all these polluted waters to filter into one nice big pool for easy access later on. So we'll drain that one into this one, drain that one to this one, then we can drain this one to that one. It'll be a little work, but we can handle it. So once again, we're off-gassing nasty stuff, but it's not going to get back in our base, so that is fine. We just have to worry about, are these guys going to die from not having oxygen or from losing their immune system? So we will kind of look at where the oxygen is going to settle in these areas, and then we're going to put deodorizers in those areas. So I hear something. Hopefully you guys can hear too, but it sounds like something expelling water. Some sort of a vent. So hopefully as we come over here, we will find that and start figuring out how to utilize that as a resource. Because running out of water is one of the things that used to plague me when I first started playing this game. So it's important to me to kind of plan out what I'm going to do to keep my water available to me. They are having issues. They're running back and forth to oxygen. So once we break into here, we will have some oxygen. But then when we break into here, we're going to be exchanging carbon dioxide. So kind of do this little bridge so that we can get this drain going. Then we'll come up over here. We'll just start doing what I told you, where we're just draining stuff around into one nice big pool. All the while remembering to collect gold. But not collect gold in such a way that damages our free harvests. So they can, of course, breed polluted oxygen, so now they won't have to run back and forth so much, but it could affect their immune systems. Oh, I thought it used to be if you clicked that, it showed you where it was. And we kind of need to figure out where we're going to have a nice CO2 well to keep our food so it doesn't spoil. Usually I do that, somewhere over here, but I've got water and that open area. So maybe we'll do it over here still, but higher up. I don't know. Here we go. We're draining our water into this pool. We'll make some derpy ladders so that we can get to all this gold. So far, no water vent that I thought I heard. Maybe it's just the sound of fish swimming. I normally am not zoomed in, so I'm hearing new sounds I don't normally recognize. Oh, here we go. So there's neutronium. We see it's a little warmer. Aha, 2 of the neutroniums, just a little warmer. So normally with this game, as I was mentioning, you have like these layers of insulators between biomes. Between any biome and your starting one, you usually have an insulator of just granites, igneous rocks, obsidians. Then between the biomes outside of your base, you have the abyssalite. unless something spawns there and affects that. So we see that there's abyss light here and here, but there's a volcano or a vent right there that interrupted that. And because it did, it's leaking cold into this biome. We can kind of figure out what it is by how tall and wide it is. So something that tall is going to be a vent. If it was one shorter, it would be a volcano. Volcanoes can create magma, which I have no use for in the early game. This is a volcano. They can create refined metals, which are just great in the early game, because you don't have to spend resources refining your own metals. So I would be quite pleased if it was simply a gold or an iron volcano. Iron's great because you can use that iron to make steel. Just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. With 1 stone. Singular. So we haven't really dug anywhere over here since last we checked, so I'm gonna be surprised if we see anything, but that is what we were looking for last time, was that differential in color indicating neutronium. Just kind of come over here, make some more derpy ladders for no reason. Come up here. Collect all of this lovely gold. And then we'll allow this to drain over here and back down over here. Okay, so that oxygen has started moving like I suspected, up into the highest areas of kill. The carbon dioxide is dropping. That's just going to continue to happen. That carbon dioxide is going to drop. It's going to go up. So let's kind of keep letting them breathe where they can. Oh, research is done. So we can make the power automation. We can make the power. What we can't do is filter it. So maybe we want filters. I said we wanted to get that temperature regulation. That is still very true. Printing pod, hooray! We can have a pufflet. I don't want one of those right now. They make slime, and I am not in the business of slime. I have never seen a dupe with so many negatives. That is intense, and it's not even getting us much. Like, if you had 2 or 3 +5s, I'd be like, sure, we'll deal with this, but pass. Loud sleeper, that's fine. Yokel, that's fine. Night owl, that's great. He just wants to ranch and build. Or just build. I guess we'll take this feller. And I told you early on in the last video that I like dupes on different cycles. I haven't created any other work cycles. So we'll just leave that called default. Make one for, if I knew how to type, early bird dupes. Make one for night owl dupes. And just make an alternate shift for dupes that don't have those traits. So, you don't build stuff as fast, but the bonus downtime really helps out. The alt-shift people should have a different bathroom time than the others, so we'll put their bath time right before. We'll have them work first thing in the morning. The early bird should definitely work first thing in the morning. And their bath time will be at the end of break time. And the night owls should sleep in the middle of the day, with downtime just before that. Maybe bath time when they first wake up. And they'll work the rest of it. Now, another thing that would really make me happy in this making my life easier thing is if they told me who had these different traits somewhere on this screen, but they don't. So we'll go into the food thing, And we'll start clicking on people, go to their skills, and figure this out. He does not care. She does not care. They do not care. Whichever pronoun is best. Early bird. Frankie is an early bird. Frankie is our early bird. Okay, Frankie is our early bird. Harold is our night owl. Alright, so we got those two taken care of. Let's just check those last two and make sure we haven't... Oops. Haven't hired any others that we forgot about. Okay, yep, that's it. So I'm just going to put Lindsay, Ruby, and May down here. So Jean's going to be working by herself until we get our next dupe in, and then Jean will have a friend. Oh. That's strange. Usually, okay, we just had it pause, so that's why. While we're over here, we can also build a ladder. Cancel those. And then dig this stuff out and kind of try to find out what this is without activating it, so that if it's a magma volcano, we can just seal it back up and not have to deal with super hot magma. This is a very nice big biome. Quite a bit of fluid. Once we get through there, we'll dig. We'll build a ladder. Over here. Thinking about fluid dynamics, we should probably do something more like this. So it'll actually flow. We should lower it as it goes. Hopefully that'll drain out well. I'm going to mark these as very low priority, so we can actually drain it. I'm going to make these a higher priority, so these happen first. I'm not going to bother mopping anything because we're just going to keep dumping stuff over here, so. Love that sleep weed. Look at how much sleep weed is right there. It's just nice little easy access farm. Whereas over here, it's kind of spread out more. I'm going to try to maybe not build too much over here. I might do like some luxury apartments later, since this is this colder biome than the hot biome. We could do some really big, nice apartments over here. And it'd be way easier to cool than if we did them on the other side. So maybe I'll put my oxygen systems and stuff over here. Kind of like that. Can't help myself. I need to know what's in this one too. More derpy ladders. I get very excited about steam vents, or about vents and volcanoes. It's pretty cool. Cycle 16, long commutes. Oh, yeah, well, that's new. I've never seen that before. But they're spending more of their time running than they are working, they're saying, so. We're pretty far off from getting transit tubes, so they're just gonna have to keep up the running. Get them their exercise, earn those calories. As far as why they're prioritizing stuff out here that's at 5s rather than stuff in here that's at 5s, I don't know. You'd think the digger, the miner guy would prioritize that, but I guess not. Just finished our temperature modulation research. And this is something I mentioned last video where I get so excited I want to do so much and then nothing gets done in a timely fashion. So insulated gas pipe is probably going to be important so we don't heat up our colony. Radiant gas pipe will also be important so that we can cool that oxygen down when it's coming back in. So I guess we're just really revving up to get our oxygen off the algae system and just onto the water system. So where should we do this here? I think we'll do it right about here. So I'm gonna make a CO2 lock there. Just continue up to here. So this, I don't really need to be in here for a while. So I guess I'd kind of like it as access with oxygen to dig out more rock though. So I think, yeah, we'll probably just use this here to dig out some rock. We will insulate that sooner rather than later. Can you deconstruct these blocks? You have to deconstruct them. You can't put a blueprint over the top of them. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna let a little bit more CO2 into our base, but oh well, what can you do? Just gonna put ladder in here so that we can get this all built the way I want it to be built. So we're going to try to make a CO2 lock here so that we can freely come in and out of here, because this is where we're going to be building the power plant and the oxygen systems. Those darn soggy feet. Pardon me. Remember, we're only here for gold, so we should be harvesting that. Okay, they have soggy feet, and they're in the ice cold, so they just got hypothermia. That's unfortunate. We don't have them in bed. We're not going to be able to deal with that. Time will take care of it. I'm going to switch this over to sedimentary rock, so they don't have to go back to the base to get what they need to get that. So they can't access that. Oh yeah, because they need that. So we'll just let them know they can do that really fast. I really want to know what's in these guys, so we'll probably call this one a video after we find out what this one is. Over here we have a thermal nullifier that uses hydrogen to create more cold, and oh, we've already found the edge of the map, so we're really far to the left on this map. Normally I scroll for a while to find the edge of the map. Oh, we just have a skinny map. Okay, that's fine. So you can use that, like I'll use this in steel. Another vent. Sweet. Oh, nope, it's a volcano. Cool. So I'll use this later in the game to cool steel, so that that steel isn't running around at like 400 degrees Celsius. Okay, show me what we got, guys. I gotta know. I got to know. Oh, I paused it. I'm like, why aren't they coming? I need them to come over here. So, by putting it so far in, it is going to heat the base up a little bit, because, like, this area right here is, I think, technically the hot biome, so this will continue generating heat, but once we start delivering cold oxygen, we will be compensating for that, so I'm not too worried about it. I just kind of did this as, like, a natural thing around this little guy that we got here. Pretty much will only build my insulator tiles out of igneous rock as a slow heating material. Sandstone will heat up a little faster, granite heat up faster, and then I avoid these two as thermally reactive because I just assume that they heat up even faster than sandstone or granite. So So I like my slow heater to keep the stuff at bay. We have a gold volcano, folks. This is exciting. I really didn't even think that was a volcano. It seemed like it was too tall. But what we're going to do is we are definitely not going to let that gold over here. And we don't want that heat over here. What we will do is we'll probably come in from above. And we will dig out all this area here. And we will let that gold run down and cool. And still hopefully preserve our farming capabilities. But there's really not much sleet wheat in this little area. So if these sleet wheat die, it won't be the end of the world. We know we have this nice little dense sleet wheat pocket. Of course, I'd love all my sleet wheat to survive, but I know that's not feasible. And we can always turn this guy on too to keep this as cold as possible. But having gold so early on means I just don't have to waste power and time and resources making any refined metals for quite a while. So that's really exciting. So just so I don't forget, I'm definitely going to tell them to just go ahead and dig this stuff out. We're going to make a reservoir. Oh, we have wolframite, and we have to have a full-fledged miner to dig wolframite, but that's fine. If we don't dig out the wolframite, my life will go on. Derp. Okay, so this will let them jump around on the ladders, dig it all out. I'm super excited, guys. Having early access to refined metal is super exciting for me. I can't wait to come back and do some more stuff. So I guess if we really want them to be doing this, we don't want them all to get hypothermia. So clean up the soggy feet. Make sure they do that pretty quickly. Okay, I said we were going to quit after that, so we found a gold volcano. It's super exciting. We've got another volcano here, another volcano there. So we've got some interesting stuff. I would have preferred one of those three things be some sort of a water geyser or water vent. But I think one of them still can be. I think I've seen on another stream or video that you can have a polluted water vent or something in a volcano shape. So cross your fingers for one of those. That'll be really helpful. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to see you next time.